Now, the success of your YouTube videos often comes down to one simple thing, and that's the clickability of your thumbnail. But the issue is that we aren't master psychologists, nor are we graphic designers. So we're probably going to be working from tools like Canva, maybe using a template, or just creating something simple. So in this video, I wanted to break down the 5 rules that I follow to be able to improve the average clickability of your thumbnail. Because if you can get, say, 5% or above and keep improving on that, then you've got a good chance of videos going viral and gaining more reach. So it's not about spending hours or days on your thumbnails when you're not a graphic designer. You will improve at this over time. And honestly, it's not always about the way that it looks, but more of the information that it's conveying and the sort of triggers that you're going to use inside. So as you get better at this and as you follow these rules, you should be able to improve that click-through rate. So the first point, and probably the most important one, is not to skip ahead of this. You want to give some time to the thought of your thumbnail. What we often do is we take a screenshot and then we just slap some text on it that pretty much repeats the title, and we think, that's enough, that'll do, I don't really need to do anything else. And by all means, you can use a screenshot if you want to do it quick from, you showing your emotion or doing something inside the video. But you really want to think about the message that your thumbnail is conveying. You want to make sure that you're spending enough time on it to maybe not just go with the first version, to really think about, will this convey the message and the information that I have inside the video? Will this make people want to click more? So it's important that you set some time aside to at least develop the idea of your packaging. So this goes for your thumbnail and also obviously the title as well that's going to be going along with it. So yes, we want to keep things simple, but we also want to make sure that they're impactful. And I know a lot of people out there, a lot of gurus say that you need to create your video packaging first. You need to create your thumbnail before you actually develop the video itself. And I think this is good if you can. It does help to have all of that ready. But in the very least, make sure that you're coming up with an idea for the thumbnail. So maybe you're working from an idea that someone else had and you're going to do something similar, or you've at least written down your idea for the thumbnail, which you can then develop later. And if the idea sounds good for the thumbnail, then obviously you can move forward with the next stage. So rule number 2 is that you want to leverage curiosity. Now, there are many other psychological triggers such as desire and fear and FOMO and everything else. But the main one that you'll consistently see throughout thumbnails that do well is curiosity. So if you can, you always want an element of this within your thumbnails. And you'll see this is where people say it's clickbaity. So if people go too far with curiosity, that's when they say that it's clickbait, because they've really made you just want to click, and maybe they then haven't delivered on the information. So you do want to make sure that you're triggering people to click, but you also want to make sure that you're delivering on what you were saying within the thumbnail and the title. So that's the caveat. So if you look at this one here, which is one of my videos that went viral recently, which is basically the new vlogging style taking over in 2025. And then if you look at the thumbnail, you've got the grandpa method with the thumbnails of 3 big YouTubers, people with million-plus subscribers on YouTube. So they've got 3 big channels. So you may recognize them, which gives me a little element of authority. But then I've got arrows pointing to them and saying the grandpa method. And then if you've got the title, you've got new vlogging style taking over in 2025. So the idea of the curiosity part is to get me to click, or it's to get me to read the title. So if I looked at this and I saw these YouTubers and it said the grandpa method, I'm now curious. I want to know what it is. So it's probably going to make me read the title, and then I'll say the new vlogging style taking over in 2025. I'm assuming that you're relating it to these vloggers, and now I'm interested in knowing what this new method is that they're actually using. So I haven't given anything away, but I have gotten more curiosity with the title. So thumbnail makes some curiosity, gets people to read the title. The title still has an element of curiosity, and then that gets people to click through. You can see this in other ones that I've done as well. So this one also went viral. Why you should start a YouTube channel in 2025, even if nobody watches. Now, I would say that just start, and then it's YouTube. It could have had more curiosity. And to be honest, I don't think the click-through rate on this was very high. It was mainly about the timing of it within January. But the title does have an element of curiosity in terms of even if nobody's watching. So that's kind of counterintuitive. I'm curious to know why I would create one even if people didn't watch. So still got elements of curiosity. And then if we come up, we've got the future of vlogging is here. Everything changes. Vlogging's back. elements of curiosity. I could have done more. Easy mode, YouTube, and be quiet. So I'm curious to know, how is YouTube on easy mode? And then it's saying YouTube is on easy mode, but not for everyone. So now I'm curious how it's in easy mode, and then obviously why it's not for everyone. So that's extra curiosity. So if you can implement parts of that within your titles and your thumbnails, then you're going to get better results. Rule number 3 is leveraging attention hacks. Now, you've probably seen the YouTube homepage. It is noisy. There's a lot of attention-grabbing thumbnails on there at any given time. So you've got all of those thumbnails, all of those titles, trying to grab our eyeballs and our attention. So you want to be able to stand out on those small little thumbnails, especially on all device sizes, such as our phones, where you're going to be scrolling through, and they're going to be tiny. They're going to be really, really small. So this is why I like to do more with less. Have just 3 main elements inside of your thumbnail. No more. 3 main elements, okay? And you want to make sure that one is a main character, one is supporting, and then whatever else is sort of bringing the theme together of, say, your title and the theme of your video. So you really want to be conveying quickly what your video is about, but not using any more than 3 elements. Now, I like to use this tool, Creator Hooks. I will link to it in the video description. It's great for finding outlier videos and also seeing good example of viral videos and viral thumbnails. But you don't need it, but this is what I'm going to be showing you anyways. So as you can see from all of these thumbnails that have gone viral, and these are talking head videos that have gone viral, you can see 3 elements. 1, 2, 3. This one, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And it's normally the main prop, the branding of the person with an emotion, and the text. Okay, so this is a great format. But sometimes you don't even need to use all 3. You can just have 1. So they are the main part of this one. Then you got this one, 1, 2, 3 again. The prop, the person, the text. Here we go, text and the people. That's it. So less is more, but it wants to convey the information as quickly as possible. So you want to have things, also the emotions, also danger, risk, things they want to know. So this is where the sort of fear and desire side can come into it. So if you look at these, you go, what's the regret, with an arrow pointing to a house and her looking disappointed. So it's conveying emotion, a single word, regret, and then pointing to a house. That drives curiosity, and then I want to look across. So they are scroll stoppers. Regret and the arrow of a house is a scroll stopper. It's going to make me want to see. Florida is done with an emotion of this. That is something that's going to make me want to look. And then obviously, if you're into bikes, I gave up on carbon bikes. Oh, now I'm curious to know why. And then we've got no more jobs. It's a scroll stopper. You're thinking, what? What do you mean, no more jobs? And why are these people saying that? Now I want to know. Again, 3 elements, $10 versus $300. It's going to make me stop. So you're hacking my attention by then leveraging, like here, he's got his branding. And sometimes you being in the thumbnail brings it, is great. But as you can see, some of my best thumbnails actually don't even have me in. So you don't always have to be in it. You have to look at the thumbnail like real estate. Will you bring more value? So if you are just putting yourself in there because you feel you want to, you're growing your branded channel, so you want to be in the thumbnails because people say you should be in, you have to ask yourself, are you taking up space, valuable real estate that could be replaced with something else? Maybe a prop or something else for that particular video would bring more authority. Now, I'm a big fan of being in some of your thumbnails to try and build your personal brand at the same time, because that builds trust. And as more people get to know you, you actually bring more value to the thumbnail because people will click on it. But you have to always ask yourself, am I bringing more? So in this case, he's bringing some, obviously people will recognize his face, but he's also then pointing to these. So these will be different brands that maybe you recognize, which will then be like, okay, what is it he's showing us? And then it's 8 mind-blowing websites that you probably didn't know existed. So unless maybe you recognize one of these, but not the others. So you want to know how they're associated together. But maybe these would have brought more authority than him if he was starting a new channel. We then can come down. The 3 most dangerous people. So we got 3 and him, 3 most dangerous people. Okay, it's an interesting one. We're talking about danger and everything else. So it's a scroll stopper and curiosity. So the main part I want you to get here is that you need an element of drama or something that's going to grab my attention. So you don't want to just repeat the title, and if the title's boring and there's no emotional urgency, curiosity, and then you just share that same vanilla in the thumbnail, it's not that people won't click, is that fewer people will click. You have to stand out. If they don't click, they don't watch, as Mr. B says. Number 4 is the design hierarchy. Now, as you can see on these, I haven't made this screen any bigger because you can make out nearly all of these. They're all conveying information very quickly, even on small sizes. So you got 2 plants, one looks better, there's yours. Simple. You got this one, 2 hours, 30 minutes. He's happy, he's sad, 2 hours, 30 minutes. Conveys a message very clearly, very quickly. So you want to make sure you've got the main character and the supporting parts. Okay, so there's always a main character within your thumbnails, and you don't want to get in the way of that. You don't want to take attention away from the core message and point of your thumbnail. So if we come down, major events, you can see in 2 seconds, within a 2-second rule is really what you want to be getting here. So when you shrink down the size of the thumbnail inside Canva, within 2 seconds, it needs to drive enough information about the title and the idea of the video to get people to draw them in and convey that information. If it confuses me, or it's an inside joke, or I don't get it, or it's just not relevant, or it's boring, that's it, you lost me. So within 2 seconds, it needs to be really, really clear. And rule number 5 is test variations. Now, you can upload and test variations on YouTube with their test and compare feature. But the rule I would follow with this is make sure that you've got at least 2 really good thumbnails that you think on their own, each of them is absolutely amazing. It almost wants to be a test because you can't decide. But if there's one that you're looking at and going, I feel that is much better and that's going to perform much better, then either you need to improve this one so you feel that they can both work, or just go with that one. All right? So the testing you would do when you're designing in Canva, duplicate the different thumbnails and tweak things a little bit. Tweak the wording, tweak maybe having an arrow, tweak a few little elements, make you bigger, or trying to make sure there's not any dead space in there. Make sure you're utilizing all of the real estate, and test, visually test. But if you're going to actually test when you upload them with a test and compare, as I say, a rule to follow, because I've seen this it doesn't always help you. It needs to be 2 very different but also equally amazing thumbnails. That is because you can't decide and you want YouTube to decide for you. Otherwise, just go with one. But when you're designing and creating your thumbnails, tweak different things, because even seeing it inside Canva with different text or different imagery and everything else, you're going to decide what's better as you go through. So don't just settle on the first one. Create a few variations and test it to see if you can improve it even further. So there you have it. Those are my 5 rules for YouTube thumbnails. Give them a try and let me know how you get on in the comments below. If you enjoyed that, hit the like button. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing you inside the next one.